I'm gonna have to beg your pardon if the video seems a little bland from what I like to usually consider my standard fare, but that's more of a testament to just how simple and flat out good the game is overall. Let's be honest, we're talking about a formula that's almost as old as I am, and one that just about anyone who puts even a modicum of effort in can do not just right, but with the application of passion and experience, will do well. Enter R19 Games and Fulqrum Publishing, and by that I mean one fucking person. Just one. Shouting Zhu, and pardon me if I butchered that, I'm American, which means I only speak one language, and poorly at that. Add in the composer, voice actors, and the extra SFX person, and while it's not the smallest team I've looked at a game from, for its scope and accomplishments, it's incredibly small. Releasing in early access in I don't even remember how long ago, I watched and waited because I've played a lot of early access shooters, bought a lot, and it was just one I wanted to wait for the full release on. At the end of January, in the year of our darkest timeline 2023, it came, and now here we are, and if you're a fan of boomer shooters, you don't need to watch more than the following. From stem to stern, this shit is 100% bad fucking ass. It's solid, has a great difficulty curve, build-up, level design, never encountered a single bug or glitch, and is an absolute blast the entire runtime. There's a fuckload of secrets, and even a fuckload of super secrets requiring the player to discover and solve puzzles. Some will be a bit more blatant, just requiring some exploring to figure out, with others requiring a bit more scouring to find the solution. There are even secret levels. If you like old-school boomer shooters, you're going to get everything you love about them with fantastic personal flair thrown in, and if that's all you needed to know, I guess we're done here. But for the rest of you, well, let's go ahead and get more detailed. You are Judge Dredd Templar. Your granddaddy was killed by demons and is subsequently adopted by some group who train him to be a gun-kata nightmare of anti-demon vengeance. That's it. That's all you really need to know, and that's all you're really given. Between episodes, you're given mini vignettes explaining this, but it's not too terribly important. In the space station base of the UAC, there are demons. Go kill the demons. Don't become a zombie. The game starts you off with its dual katanas and dual pistols, and yes, you can in fact play the intro from Painkiller on them from the get-go. Alt-fire isn't really a thing in the game, and the button is reserved for swapping weapons of the shared ammo type. Dual pistols, dual SMGs, pump action, double barrel, etc. If there are two weapons that share an ammo pool, alt-fire swaps between them. The only weapon that has an alt-fire that I discovered is the katana, which you can hurl at enemies. And speaking of them weapons, let's get the Johnny Dangerously test out of the way quick.
You shouldn't hang me on a hook. My father hung me on a hook once.
It's not bad. It's not the best, but it audibly packs a mean-spirited punch, and its accompanying sound effects sell the experience pretty strongly. I give it a ain't been on the shine recently out of 10 on the pure hillbilly vengeance scale. Gunplay is overall pretty solid, and most weapons will function pretty much exactly as you have come to expect. Pistols aren't fast, but aren't really slow. They're pinpoint accurate, and damage is mid. SMGs are super fast, which combines with some slightly higher damage for improvement, but sacrifices the fuck out of accuracy. Pump action has a decent range, and you can hit headshots a little further away than you would think. Double barrel is pure up-close nightmare damage at the expense of double the ammo investment, as it should be. Fourth slot is a bow with ammo that slowly regenerates. Moderately good damage, great range and accuracy, but it requires modding to be anything other than what you fall back on when ammo is scarce. Then there's the trap launcher. It does what it says on the tin. Nothing really special about it, insanely useful later in the game. Then there's the rocket launcher and its subsequent tri-rocket launcher. Tri-rocket has severely reduced damage but can be modded to be homing to increase its effectiveness. Then there's the revolver.
They made it for him special. It's an 88 Magnum. It shoots through schools.
Yeah, it does that. Sounds ain't perfect, but the punch it packs and the extra punch you can add to it makes it a truly hellish weapon. Then there's the BFG. It functions more in a line than an AoE, but it's a very large line, and its alt version is weird, but okay. And those are your weapons, a decent spread, and each will have its uses, and they will never let you down. Easy peasy. Did I mention modding? Yeah, this game has upgrades! Not content to be a Molgoth murder machine, the game gives you all the tools you need to build yourself into a man and a half. You can slot in runes to build your character to better fit your playstyle, and these can be swapped at shrines, so you're never locked into a build you don't gel with. You will find runes throughout the levels, some just given along the pathway, some tucked in a corner, a fuckload hidden behind secrets, and even more powerful runes hidden behind challenging side paths. They mostly follow the standard upgrade options: dash cooldown speed up, health up, ammo up, rate of fire up, damage up. Each has multiple ranks, so you can either slap the top rank on each, or just start stacking them. Enemies getting a fuckload of health, bad at aiming, pump ammo pool, aiming not a problem, pump damage, etc, etc. It's simple like your whore mother, clean unlike your prostitute sister, and very open, again, like your entire slut family. But then come the legendary runes, which change major factors. You can only equip one legendary rune per weapon slot, and weapons that share an ammo type share that slot, so there is some strategy there as well. That strategy focuses mostly around whether you want an insane ability for that slot, or you want to dramatically change one of them. In the case of the pistol slot and shotgun slot, this comes in the form of granting an inferno version of a weapon. They become insanely powerful at a huge cost to ammo. Pistols become stronger in pierce, but use something crazy like 3 rounds per shot. SMGs deal massive damage and rate of fire goes through the roof, but it means a single click will expend some 6 rounds, meaning your ammo empties in less than 3 seconds of sustained fire. Inferno pump action uses 2 rounds, but now slows enemies and damage is slightly increased. Double barrel becomes the Doom Eternal Ballista, can fire 3 times before needing to reload, but requires 3 rounds per shot. And the beat goes on. I know I'm just naming things, but it's to give you an idea of how much things can change based on the runes you equip. Running Inferno mods on your base weapons will dramatically change how you use them, and some of the stock Inferno weapons don't even need their game changer mods, such as the pure genocide committing revolver, which when you pump its damage becomes insanely powerful and doesn't even need its 3-round expenditure rune. The differences they all make won't be noticed that much at first, but by the time you're closing in on the end of episode 3, your loadout is making massive changes. Cook with gas, dear man and a half. Level design is exactly what you would expect from a game of the Doom 2, Quake, and Blood era. There's nothing super special or groundbreaking in the ideas for layout and flow, but it's varied, plays with everything it has, and builds thoughtful levels that encourage the player to explore and even try out little jumps and tricks for discovering secrets. It does a great job snagging the player's attention to look at things they probably wouldn't have otherwise, which then guides them to experiment. Coupled with great aesthetics, solid graphic fidelity, and art direction, and this baby is just absolutely beautiful. It doesn't just guide the player to explore, it makes them want to. And you will want to explore, as there are a fuckload of secrets and upgrades. Many levels even have super secrets, which by solving grants the player early access to devastating weapons and power-ups, and the super secrets always involve a unique puzzle or task the player must complete. Alongside power-ups come all the secret references. This game knows where it came from, it knows how to do it right, and it pays plenty of homage to its forerunners. Plenty of references that aren't blatant and in your face, but easy to discover if you're looking, including an extra side path being one of the Counter-Strike maps. Love boomer shooters? Here's a good one with plenty of high fives to throw the player's way. Enemy variety is pretty massive, and fights throughout the game slowly ramp up to horde battles that match the player's access to power. It's easy to get overwhelmed if your attention to your build slips a little too long, but encounters begin to build up to not just test the player's skill and damage output, but highlight their mastery and power. No matter what they throw at you, no matter how bad it will fuck you over, it never felt like it was just unfairly punishing. The game always felt like there was at least one obvious answer in my arsenal, and many more if I spend 3 seconds thinking about it ahead of time. Easy answer, of course, always being slow time, get all the waves to spawn, BFG. But that's not always fun, and even late in the game, ammo for it is scarce, so while it's an easy go-to, it's not always the best option. In fact, many times the best option is to focus and style on the enemies, as you will be rewarded with plenty of restock regardless. While enemies get spongy and less experienced players will invest in larger ammo pools, the game is in no way stingy with its freebies and power weapon ammo. The dev wants you to unload ordnance, gives you plenty to do so, but also asks that you be aware of what's at your disposal and please display some variety. Some strategy is involved as later enemies appear to gain resistances to certain types of damage, but also appear to gain weaknesses to discover as well. The game has no problem throwing massive hordes at you accompanied by super heavy death dealers, but it's mostly in perspective and scale of the game's arena sizes. You're not going to get serious Sam levels, not even close, but you are going to be asked to deal with more at once than even the harder levels of Duke, Blood, or Quake ever asked of you. Again, it's all in scale to what it is, and it feels a bit bigger than it probably actually is, which is a fantastic development technique. Like Metal Gear Revengeance, the feeling that you can cut anything to shreds is more impactful and useful as a tool than actually being able to do so. So a game whose mechanics are easy to get into, solid, and easy to master can easily, through a considered use of its own scale and design, be made to feel larger than what it actually puts in front of you. And that's just the encounters I'm talking about. Level themselves get absolutely massive, just that even the biggest encounters feel larger than they probably are sometimes. A little magic trick thanks to careful manipulation of everything the player is presented with. Soundtrack is an absolute banger! Front to fucking back, there isn't a single track that can even be described as mid. It starts hard, stays hard, and like ya boy, only ever gets more hard. It's even got a few funky pieces early on with bass reminiscent of the MIDI used for OG Doom. Now that's what I call Jams to Genocide Demons 2 Volume 6, and it slaps the entire fucking game and helps build on the atmosphere of each level. The final big levels before the end actually drop the metal and go with atmospheric and thematic tracks that reminds me a bit more of the finale to Alice. It's not the same by no means, but you can see what they are going for. Massive shoutouts to the Pirate Cove level, which has this banger fucking thematic track that kinda reminds me a lot of Carrick Angren doing the cover for the Pirates of the Caribbean soundtrack. What the fuck else can I say? It's more than solid, it's fan-fucking-tastic. Level design, environment, enemy, weapon, strategy, soundtrack, and aesthetic are all packed with variety, and the game gives the player plenty to do, see, experience, and murder in a package that runs a good length, with plenty of replayability for its price tag. If you don't like all the new age boomer shooter shit and prefer the absolute old school gunplay and level design, this is one you don't want to miss. It's going to be pretty tough and test casual fans of the genre, but long-timers are going to want to go ahead and do the old hard first playthrough. Sure, it doesn't offer a whole hell of a lot in the way of new ideas, but it stands as an absolutely solid work from a mostly solo dev who knows exactly what the fuck he's doing, and sometimes there's really not much more you can ask for. I'm the TheNecroswanson, and you can go fuck yourselves.